Hello, everyone.
Hello. Good evening from the Philippines. Good evening from the Philippines.
Hello, good evening, and good afternoon, and good morning to some of you.
Shelly,
Ken,
did you get the movie? I sent it to you by WhatsApp.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So you will screen it, please.
Mhm. No problem, Michal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wait 1 second. Let me know when you want me to start.
You can go ahead.
We can go ahead. Perfect. Very good. Sorry. And we are beginning. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I am very excited. The truth is, anytime Dalia Noy and Mashav contact us and reach out to a partner, I am more than happy. If there's one thing I've learned in my 18 years in Access Israel, I am Michal, I'm the CEO of Access Israel, is how much we can learn from each other. And it doesn't matter where we live, where we come from, what the level of accessibility is. As long as we share, as long as we reach out, that's how we will make the world a better place and a more accessible place for everyone. So this is the mood I want you all to step into for the next hour and a half. And as I said, I am delighted to welcome longtime partners and new participants joining us from around the world. And as I mentioned, always happy for the cooperation with our longstanding partners at MASHAV, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation. Today's session, we are going to focus on accessibility in Israel. By the way, just so you'll know, accessibility, the word in Israel 26 years ago, nobody knew what that means. So I will try to walk you through a process of 26 years from not knowing what accessibility is to becoming one of the countries that really has a lot to share on the subject. And it's especially meaningful that we're having this conference and this webinar today on the 3rd of December, the International Day of Persons with Disability, which is celebrated and noted all over the world, and many places with the color purple, which we will connect to later on during this webinar. And before we begin, a few accessibility notes. First of all, this webinar includes automatic English captions. To enable the captions, please click on the CC icon in the Zoom toolbar and then select Show Captions. And then you will have captions of whatever is said here in the webinar. A recording of the webinar will be shared with you afterwards. And for those who don't know me, I jumped right in and maybe didn't do a proper introduction. I am Michal Rimon. I'm the CEO of Access Israel, and I always like to use this charm that has always made webinars good for me. I always introduce myself as Michal Rimon, the proud CEO of Access Israel. Very proud of the doing, the projects, the achievements, but most of all of the people, the partners, the employees, the volunteers. And by the way, by joining us for this webinar, you too have become those partners and those people who together we will reach out and fulfill our dreams and goals. So as I said, I've been in Access Israel for 18 years. Before that, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, working for at the UN mission in New York City. So I come from both sides. Totally appreciate the work of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and now proud to bring into the game the importance of accessibility to all. Today, we will explore the accessibility efforts in Israel, learn about the long-standing partnership with MASHAV, hear from our international partners, from the USA we have, and from Africa, and see how together we can promote inclusive change worldwide. And before I continue, I'd love to introduce our first speaker for the opening remarks, Einat Schlein, head of MASHAV, to deliver the opening remarks. Please, Einat.
Thank you so much, Michal. Good evening, good day. Just hold on with this video for a second, if I may ask for that. Good evening. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you, and to not just to mark the 3rd of December, which is dedicated to people with disabilities, but also to mark this long-term collaboration between MASHAV and Access Israel. We've been doing things all around the world for many years, and we're looking forward to continue this beautiful partnership. In MASHAV, we'll share a small video with you in a minute. We are fully committed to sustainable development, and there would be lots of things we could talk about, but in this specific time and place, I would like to stress the fact that we believe in partnerships. Partnerships allow us to spread our wings and fly. The more, the merrier. We're happy to collaborate bilaterally, trilaterally, multilaterally. We work with NGOs, local, international, Israeli NGOs working abroad. We work with development banks. We work with governments. We work with UN agencies, with the private sector. We work with everyone. And we're also would be very happy to be working with each and every one of you on various projects that has to do with accessibility, which is a very unique and important topic in our development curriculum. So just for a few minutes, just to introduce who we are and what do we do when we speak of development in Israel, I would like to share a short video with you. So if it could come up now, thank you.
MASHAV, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, was launched in 1958 to share the know-how and technologies that provided the basis for Israel's own rapid development. We address challenges in a holistic and innovative way and support fellow nations and communities in their struggle to achieve sustainable development. Envisioned by the nation's founders to share Israel's knowledge and experience, MASHAV aims to empower those living in poverty to improve their own lives. Placing people at the heart of its initiatives, MASHAV focuses on capacity-building programs in Israel and around the globe. Our alumni return to their home countries and adapt the knowledge and skills they acquired for the benefit of their communities.
At MASHAV's training centers, we focus on training professionals from around the world to harness innovative solutions for their communities. By focusing on peer learning and hands-on experience, we're building a network of global leaders equipped with Israel's unique expertise. We are proud to support real change makers and witness their invaluable impact at the local, national, and international level.
Our agricultural programs use unique techniques and farming methods developed in Israel to increase sustainability and quality in agricultural production, paving the way for food security and hunger eradication. We believe that investment in education is an investment in the future and an agent for change, and MASHAV is committed to achieving quality education around the world. MASHAV coordinates Israel's official humanitarian assistance, building medical facilities, and supplying medicine in the wake of earthquakes, floods, famine, and other disasters. MASHAV promotes innovative entrepreneurship as a means of advancing growth and prosperity. We believe that gender equality and women's empowerment are central to achieving sustainable development. Our holistic approach to gender, poverty reduction, and sustainable development changes lives all around the world. Israel shares the global responsibility of striving to achieve worldwide sustainable development in line with the UN's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, with a philosophy to leave no one behind. Over the decades, MASHAV trained over 350,000 people from more than 140 countries and has established hundreds of centers of excellence worldwide.
As head of MASHAV, I'm proud to lead our mission, investing in human capital, empowering individuals, assisting those in need, and working with diverse partners to support sustainable development. Since the late 1950s, we've trained over 350,000 people, built hundreds of centers of excellence, and delivered change alongside our strong alumni networks. MASHAV is concentrating on capacity building, sharing Israel's unique expertise and creative innovations at the forefront of the global effort to confront climate change and build community resilience, committed to these sustainable development goals, partnering for a better world.
Thank you. This was just a short introduction of MASHAV, not going to be the main topic of today's discussion, but as we've gathered together to talk about this important topic of accessibility, and we have currently 82 participants, I thought this would be a good opportunity also to introduce ourselves to those who don't know us yet, and to say that whether we speak of accessibility or community resilience and any other aspects of the human life, we are here to listen, learn, work together, brainstorm, and partner with you. So without further ado, we should dwell into today's topic. I want to congratulate Access Israel for the wonderful work that they've been leading for many years. They've been a close partner. We work together in many countries, and we look forward to continue this collaboration. So I'll turn over the mic back to you, Michal. Thank you all for joining us, and let's enjoy an interesting webinar.
Thank you very, very much. And thanks to everybody for those greetings on the chat. This is the part I love, seeing all of you from where you're coming and excited to be here. So this is the 1 + 1 = 10, which I believe in very much. So thank you, Einat, for your warm and important words. Our collaboration with your organization, your department, as you said, spans many years. I will mention that today we are going to talk about the Purple Vest mission, which started in Ukraine and has blossomed very much with the help and support of MASHAV, who enabled us to continue training and providing emergency-related accessibility solutions to diverse communities working towards rebuilding an accessible Ukraine. And I must say that even in the past 2 years, which were challenging, is an understatement, we have continued this work, not let it down, continued with international partners, some of which you will meet today. And really, it's again an opportunity to say thank you to MASHAV for enabling all this. Now, we are going to begin with presenting what happens and how this all started in Israel. As I said, Israel has been operating on accessibility for the past a little bit more than 2 decades. And our mission was very clear from the start. Accessibility is our name. It's not a goal. You don't wake up in the morning and say, my goal is to make Israel accessible. My goal is actually to make Israel inclusive. Accessibility is the means to the end. And that is what I'm going to present to you today, followed by Shelley, who will dwell into the Purple Vest mission more deeply. So I will now start with the presentation. And I always have a challenge with that. So Shelley, you're with me. If I can't share, you will do the sharing. Let me know that you see the right format of the presentation. Is that okay? Good, perfect. So you see the person with disability with a flag on this day, the 3rd of December, and we are going to talk about innovation, awareness, and international cooperation. So first of all, one second. So as I said, Access Israel works to promote accessibility as a means to an end in order to improve the quality of life and enable inclusion for people with all types of disability, and elderly, of course, in all areas of life, with dignity, equality, and maximum independence. Now, when I come and ask, and I'm being asked, what is those disabilities you're presenting and you're promoting accessibility for? I always say, look at my hand. Now, my hand, 5 fingers. Imagine somebody cut off my little finger. Now, you know, if I do manicure, you see the nice nail polish that I have. To pay for 10 fingers and get only 9 is a little maybe upsetting, but it's not really a disability to talk about. It's not something that really requires accessibility, unless, of course, I'm a pianist. A pianist needs all 10 fingers, or else he cannot play elaborate music parts on the piano. So, but usually, in most cases, if my little finger is chopped off, that is not a disability that we are dealing with. We are looking for the thumb. The same thing, a finger is cut off, but this time it's the thumb. All of a sudden, major thing in the kitchen, at home, at work, I cannot do. I do not have this pinching effect with my thumb and my finger, index finger. So when we are asked, what is Access Israel focusing on? I always say disabilities that are thumbs. An example can be allergy. Would you consider allergy to be a disability? Well, the question is very clear. Are we talking about an allergy like I had when I was a baby? I loved eggplant, but whenever I ate eggplant, I had a little redness on my lip. That's totally a little finger. It's not that big of a deal. My life continued. I continued eating eggplants. That's not what we're talking about. But if now I have allergy for peanuts, let's say, and that can be life-threatening, if the public area or store that I go into, an office, a school, is not free of that peanut that makes me potentially die, then that is accessibility I need. And without this, I cannot be included. So always think little finger or thumb and focus on the thumb. The idea is that Access Israel is here to promote accessibility for all types of disability in all areas of life. We are talking, for example, in Israel, about 1.7 million, which are 18% of Israel's population. Around the world, the UN is talking about the largest minority in the world, which is around 20%, between 15 and 25%. And it really depends on the definition that country gives, but more or less it's what I said. It's an impairment that significantly limits major areas of life. And we are talking about physical disability, visual disability, hearing, communication, mental, cognitive, chronic illness. And think about people, each and every one of us knows people like that. Maybe we ourselves are people with disabilities. And we have to remember that when we're talking accessibility, We're talking accessibility of the public areas where those 20% of the world population come with their families, with their friends. So all of a sudden, accessibility starts making sense in more than just being nice and kind to those 20%. It starts to become a business motive. People with disabilities can be potential customers, can be potential voters, can be potential employees, if you just give them a chance. And that is what we are focusing, and we focused here in Israel. Now, as I said, we started with an Israel that was not accessible at all. Yuval Wagner, who established Access Israel, was the son of a father who sat in a wheelchair and was dealing with picking his father up and putting him down whenever they wanted to go places because there was no accessibility. I don't know what about you, but if I had to be picked up or put down every time I wanted to go to the movies or to the store, I would probably prefer to just be locked at home. And that was the situation in many cases here in Israel. And 26 years ago, Yuval Wagner, who himself became paralyzed following a helicopter accident, he wrote a letter because he understood history is going to repeat itself with his kids that will have to carry him. He wrote a letter as high as he could get to the president of Israel, President Ezer Weizmann, and he basically said to him, what else do I need to give my country to gain respect and live like everybody else? Between you and me, he didn't really think anybody's going to respond to this letter. But very fortunately, the president of Israel called Yuval directly 2 days after the letter was sent. And he said to him three things. First of all, he took responsibility. He said, I'm sorry, I apologize on behalf of Israel. We have not done enough for people with disability. Number two, he said, stop complaining, start doing, establish an NGO. I have your back. And that happened. He gave a timeline. That's the third thing. He said in 6 months, we're going to launch the organization at the president's residence in Jerusalem. And that's what happened 26 years ago. And from a country where the word accessibility was not in use, we have become a leading country of accessibility, very late comers, but very fast runners. First of all, we established a law. We have the equality law and the regulations on accessibility in each and every ministry in Israel. For example, accessibility of transportation in the Ministry of Transportation, accessibility of health, of education, etc., etc. And the law has teeth. It's not just a law saying you should. It's a law saying you should or else. There can be civil consequences with fines, with compensations. There can be criminal charges if needed, etc., etc. So the law really came into operation. We thought it's going to be a quick fix and a quick law, but unfortunately, even till today, not all the regulations have been completed, but a large majority has, and things have started moving totally. Another advantage of Israel, as far as accessibility goes, is that Israel is a small country. And that means we know many countries around the world where when you go to the large cities, they're accessible more or less, physically accessible at least. But once you go out farther into the village area, more and more places lack basic accessibility. In Israel, because we are a small country, once you go far away from one municipality, you probably bump into the next one. So accessibility in Israel is countrywide. Stores, branches, law applies in all over Israel. So if you have basically a coffee shop accessible in Tel Aviv, the same chain will have to have accessibility also all the way up north, all the way down south, and everywhere else in between. Another thing very unique in Israel is that the law on accessibility, the law of equality for people with disabilities, which was legislated in 1999, and the accessibility chapter in 2005, basically created new professions. The first one is accessibility experts and directors. Expert is somebody who really has to go and study for a whole year and go through tests on how to become an expert on accessibility. And his signature is needed whenever you decide to do a new store, build a new store or a new building. And accessibility director is something very unique. Every store in Israel that provides services to the public and has more than 25 employees, one has to be an accessibility director. So there will be a go-to guy in the company and for the customers who knows accessibility, who can give a response, who can react, who can help, assist whenever something goes wrong. Another thing very unique about Access Israel and Israel in general is that in Israel, the law basically adopted the Access Israel model of training for accessibility. And today, every service provider in Israel has to go through training on accessibility every single year. Think about it. You go to the coffee shop, you go to the school, you go to the doctor. Every person that provides service to the public has to go through training on accessible service every year, and at least once to do it in an experiential way. Don't just hear a lecture. Don't just read articles. Really experience. Sit on a wheelchair. See how the service you provide is given while you are not able to stand up, or see how it is when you do not see the signs around you, etc., etc. Digital accessibility in Israel is also something very advanced. Since 2017, every website and application have to be accessible for all if they provide services to the general public. Does that mean that every service provider goes through training and every website is accessible? No, it means the law requires it. Now there's, of course, the consequences of the law with teeth in cases that does not work. And lastly, something unique about Israel is the inclusive employment. Basically, every organization with more than 100 employees has to have at least 3% people with disabilities employed within the company. In the public service, the percentage is even higher. And this is something very uniquely that started not from legislation, but from the decision of the unions in Israel, of the large organizations who basically came and said, let's make a stand on this. And then the government came and joined, understanding the importance. And I can tell you the change is really here. I always say the half full glass is very full. The half empty glass makes sure that I have job security for at least a couple of more years. And what is that word that I'm saying from the beginning? Accessibility. What is accessibility? Accessibility is, first of all, the ability to arrive to places, to get into a place, to get to a place, the physical accessibility, the building, the entrance to the building, the road on the way. Think about a place that does not have a pavement, does not have a road, how people in wheelchairs can manage their way in and out and between places, or a place that has maybe obstacles that can make a person who is blind lack independence on walking around freely. So accessibility is, first of all, arriving to a place. And that's how we started here in Israel. But very quickly we understood that when a person with disability wakes up in the morning, his goal is not just to arrive. If he's going somewhere, he's going there for a reason. Let's make sure that the services that are provided to everyone in the places he gets to are accessible also for him. So accessibility is arriving to a place. It's receiving the services given by everyone, given to everyone in that place. And lastly, using the facilities there. If I'm going to a bank and I want to withdraw money from the ATM, is the ATM accessible to the blind? Is the ATM accessible to a person in a wheelchair, or is it too high? So we're looking at the service accessibility, the physical accessibility, the technological accessibility, and what I believe in most of all is the social accessibility, because eventually you will never find 100% accessibility. There's going to always be some kind of problem, and it's the human factor, the people who can make a difference between accessible and inclusive and not accessible and not inclusive. The human factor can very easily become, with the right training, the human ramp. And I won't elaborate a lot on this because our time is short, but the key challenges can be in really all areas of life that are written here: education, housing, employment, services, legislation, technologies, etc. And I will show a very short video, and then we will continue. This is Stephen Hawkins, popped to Israel for a couple of hours and took the time to send this message in his last visit here.
In 20 years, man may be able to live on the moon. In 40 years, we may get to Mars. During the next 200 years, we may be able to leave the solar system and head for the stars. But meanwhile, we would like to be able to go to the supermarket, the cinema, and restaurants.
I think he said it perfectly. We can reach for the stars, but we have to make sure that everyone can get there with us and nobody will be left behind. So our strategy is, first of all, awareness, raising awareness, implementation. How do we take that awareness, understanding of what needs to be done, and implement it to a company, to a school, to a municipality, to a ministry, etc. We understand the power of legislation and policy change. And of course, we understand that you cannot stop on just the physical and the services in 2026, where we are in the midst of the technological era. Every day a new technology pops up, and we have to make sure that technologies are accessible for all by design. And unfortunately, when we are talking about all areas of life, emergency response has to be accessible. Generic does not work, and we will elaborate on that momentarily. And to sum my part up, Access Israel's global reach. We are a special advisor to the UN ECOSOC. We participate in many international webinars and conferences and have activities all over the world. And as I said when we opened this webinar, one of the major lessons that I have learned, doesn't matter, I have experience of 18 years and 26 as an organization. Every meeting I have with any person with disability, any organization, any municipality, all over the world, whether it's developing countries or developed countries, we can learn something new. And it's just by putting our powers together, we can really create a change. This is also a good time to say thank you to the Senaka Foundation, as well as MASHAV, who enable us to continue doing this all the time. So, Shelly, you are going to compliment me after I gave the structure of accessibility in Israel. As I said, in all areas of life, and the pictures here say it all. It can happen anywhere, anytime, to anyone. The question is, are we ready? And are we ready for all? Please take over. You're muted. You're muted.
Okay, thank you, Michal, and hello, everyone. I'm Shelly from Access Israel, and I'm VP of International Affairs, and I'm managing the Emergency International Programs of Access Israel, which we will discuss right now. It's nice to meet you, and thank you, everyone, for coming here. Basically, what Michal said, anywhere, anytime, to anyone, this is the gist of emergency preparedness. When we're talking about disability and accessibility, we have to understand that we're doing a lot to promote equal rights, independent living for people with disabilities, but when emergency comes, suddenly everything changes. Everything that we've worked on suddenly diminish. people with disabilities are left behind. And it can happen everywhere. Emergencies are varied. People with disabilities are everywhere, and we have to make sure that we know how to handle it. And these are a few examples, just a few, from India, where a deaf person died in a mud collapse because he couldn't hear the announcements. Another thing in China, a nursing home, 31 residents with disabilities died because they couldn't be evacuated on time. We remember just last year in the LA fires, where a father and his son, both wheelchair users, were not evacuated, were not able to evacuate themselves in the fire, and unfortunately died. This happens all the time, everywhere, all around the world. And that is why we've established the Purple Vest mission. The Purple Vest mission is a global mission. It's ours, it's yours, it's everyone. It's the mission of leaving no one behind. In the Purple Vest mission, what we're doing is we're creating a method of accessible emergency response for people with disabilities, for the elderly, everywhere. And we're doing it by using the people, the population, my neighbors, my colleagues, co-workers, the municipality volunteers, the response teams. The idea is that if we are aware enough of the challenges of people with disabilities and of the fact that we can help, then we can provide accessible assistance during emergencies. And this is basically what we're doing, creating a global community of people who knows how to help, how to assist people with disabilities. It all started in Ukraine. You know, Access Israel has been operating all over the world for many, many years with lots of connections. And when the war broke in Ukraine, we received calls of people with disabilities that are being evacuated from buildings without electricity to transportation that is not accessible, have to walk miles after miles for reaching to the border, where a lot of people cannot do that. Getting to the refugee centers where the facilities there are not adapted to them. Many, many challenges that we said, we have the knowledge, we cannot sit aside, we have to assist. And we started operating, started to consult on different cases, and we understood that this is not enough. We have to go there, we have to see what is going on, we have to use the local communities, the volunteers there, in order to assist these people that are in very much need of help. And we started to go to the refugee centers, and we trained volunteers over there to provide accessible assistance, to know how to identify people with disabilities, hidden disabilities, visible disabilities, and to know how to offer help. And this mission grew so much. At the first year of the Ukrainian war, we've evacuated, using the local Purple Vest volunteers, almost 4,000 people with disabilities, and we've provided humanitarian aid for more than 10,000 people, all through the Nippon Foundation in Japan, who donated us the Purple Vest mission in order to do so. And this was the basic, the basis of the Purple Vest mission, which has grown so much ever since. And we're talking today about international collaboration. This is it, you guys. The fact that we can start something, and we saw the need everywhere. And we started talking about it all over the world in conferences. And the problem was there in all places. There are no protocols for people with disabilities evacuation during emergencies. The solutions doesn't consider people with disability. We have to do more. And this is how the Purple Vest mission started and grew. And then on October 7th in Israel, the Purple Vest mission started operating immediately, using volunteers who we train here, doing accessible evacuation in an accessible transportation, starting a call center for people with disabilities who are in need of help, and all of this operated by the Purple Vest volunteer.
Shelly,
I
I
must
must
say,
stop you for a second because I am still sharing the presentation. If you want to share yourself,
you're not, this is not my presentation. Who's
no,
on
that's I'm
screen?
trying to. I apologize. I am unsharing mine, and you can share yours.
No, I think mine is on screen. Do you see, guys, the Purple Vest Mission Israel on screen?
Yes. Okay, good. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So no problem, no problem. So my next sentence was that all of this, and ever since we've been to Uganda, which you will soon hear about, and we trained in the Philippines and in Bulgaria, we're doing next week Purple Vest trainings. All of this couldn't have happened without the support of our partners and friends all over the world, and specifically the Seneca Trust, who supported the Purple Vest in Israel and abroad since October 7th and beyond. And for that, we cherish each and every supporter of this mission, because the challenges are huge. We have to understand that emergencies are challenging for everyone, but for people with disabilities and the elderly, they are much harder. They are facing unique challenges. Information that is delivered with, instructions that are crucial are not accessible. And we're doing these trainings in Western countries and in development countries, and in every place, this is the same. If the news are not accessible, or information going through the web, or even speaker announcement in public areas or in neighborhoods or villages are inaccessible, then people with disabilities cannot receive crucial information. There are many communication barriers, limited mobility for people with disabilities during emergency. How can I go if there is destruction everywhere? How can I operate? How can I evacuate myself? And I have to share one more thing. Most people with disabilities, according to UNDRR survey, cannot evacuate themselves independently. So our help, our assistance is crucial during emergencies. Another thing that is a huge challenge is the isolation, lack of services during emergencies, where people with disabilities are in need of medical services, of special supplies, of assistive aids, and suddenly they cannot have it. Generic solutions are not always suitable. We saw it and we see it all the time. Buses that are evacuating people cannot evacuate necessarily people with disabilities. We saw in Ukraine in the refugee camps. What are we doing when there are mattresses all over the place, but not everyone can go and sleep on a mattress? Not everyone can get up from a mattress. And this is just a tad of the experiences of this challenge, because generic solutions are everywhere. All of the emergency protocols that you will read in every building, in every public area, in every government or municipality, most of them will not include people with disabilities specifically. Another thing is, of course, the increased vulnerability, confusion, and stress, the difficulty of planning ahead. If there is an emergency right now in my area, I can drive and I can go to a friend's place or to my family or everywhere. For a person with a disability, thinking, will I have everything I need? Will I be able to maneuver? I have a friend who is blind who told me, I know that I'm in a dangerous zone, but I'm in my home. I have everything I need here. I'm totally independent here. I know where everything is. I know how to do things for myself. If you evacuate me and put me in a new place, which I don't know. How can I operate? How can I be independent? I'm losing everything. I don't want to be evacuated. And the answer is, you guys, it is possible. If we know and aware of the challenges, we can provide accessible assistance. And the fact is that this person who did evacuate at the end of things received Purple Vest volunteers who came and helped him learn in the area, brought him a computer so he will not be alone all the time and he will be able to communicate. Got to, expose him to technologies that can help, like Be My Eyes, which volunteers are operating and showing for him everything in his surrounding. There are many things that we can do just by using the people, the population, the neighbors, the people that are aware of the challenges. And this is how the Purple Vest grew, because the need, and I'm sure each and every one of you here sitting and understanding the mission, understand why it is so important. And that is why we became global, because of the global need. We're creating a global movement of Purple Vest volunteers who are trained by us online or in person or hybrid. There are many platforms for this that knows how to identify, knows how to communicate, knows how to assist and how to evacuate people with disabilities. We've also created the Purple Vest app, which is a digital platform that coordinates between volunteers of the Purple Vest to people with disabilities that are in need of help during emergencies. We are doing personalization and customization for solutions for diverse needs, including getting to homes of people with disabilities and making sure that during emergencies they have everything they need. The knowledge is outstanding. There are many things to learn, and I'm learning each and every day new things. And we need you guys with us to know, to understand, and to provide assistance in your areas when needed. Hopefully you will not need it, but we're realistic. So we're inviting you to join us, join the Purple Vest mission, be part of this global community. On our website, in this QR that you see on screen, you can learn material and see materials in different languages of emergency preparedness, of life-saving information, tutorials on emergency preparedness for people with disabilities, and many, many more. And also contact us for more information of our training programs. So thank you guys so much, and let's start preparing.
Thank you very much, Shelly. And this is really what we call in a nutshell. And I will add to what Shelly said, that the purpose of this webinar is really to reach out, let you know, first of all, about us and about the Purple Vest mission and the initiative and why and how it can help you. And we have materials. As Shelly said, in Israel, the implementation of the Purple Vest took an hour and a half. Our materials are in all languages of the UN and can be very easily translated into additional languages. And I can tell you, for example, that each and every one of you, if you want in your area, in your municipality, in your country, in your organization, to be able to have ready prepared videos, social media clips, for any disaster, for any emergency, really giving the tips, the major tips for people with disability. And on the other hand, the tips for people from neighbors and the neighborhood who can assist and how to assist, just reach out, let us know. We'll be more than happy to give a complete Purple Vest mission training and provide you with all the materials, because only together we can make sure nobody stays behind. And since today is all about cooperation, innovation, and global cooperation, I'm very, very happy to introduce our next speaker. First of all, a friend, and a dear friend even, and a global partner. We always say he is identified and loves Access Israel, and we love him, Jamie Lassner. He is both a volunteer of the Purple Vest mission from inception, and he himself is a person with PTSD and can share the importance and the why Purple Vest mission is crucial, especially in times of emergency. Jamie Lassner, CEO and founder of Accessibility Accelerator, please.
Thank you, Commander Michal, Purple Vest General Shelley, and the Honorable Ambassador Schlein. It is an honor to be on the Zoom with you. The work that MASHAV does globally is nothing short of remarkable, and we had an opportunity to meet volunteers as they didn't hang out at the refugee center, but went right through the refugee center and assisted us very much. My name is Jamie Lassner. I am a very proud global partner of Access Israel in North America, and I am Caucasian with blue glasses and currently wearing a burgundy sweater. My beginnings in working with people with disabilities started with a friend who was injured and became a quadriplegic at about the same time that Yuval did, and then continued when I was a emergency medic at Ground Zero on September 11th, where I was injured. I've had 6 knee surgeries and suffer from what is called functioning PTSD. So I do have PTSD, I do have some triggers, and I'm able to function with them. A bit about Purple Vest in Ukraine, Israel, and the amazing work that was planted, the seed that was planted by Michal, Shelley, and the team in Israel. I'm a proud, as Michal said, active volunteer with Purple Vest. I did 5 tours in Poland working with my wife for one of them, and had the opportunity to work with people with disabilities and older adults. We had the opportunity every day to work with people that we didn't speak the same language. So we used the technology that Michal mentioned, including Google Translate, which was very, very helpful. I have since had the opportunity to be on Zooms like this all over the world, which is pretty amazing that we're all sitting here and we're from all parts of the world, but able to share best practices when it comes to this important work. And I've also had the opportunity to lecture all over the world, the last trip being to Uganda, the largest refugee center in the world, Bidi Bidi Refugee Center, and being on the ground there, and not only learning from the people there, but being able to teach and provide best practices for an area that is not fully developed. In early March 2022, my beloved friend Michal called and asked me how fast can I get to Poland. We were on the ground 8 days later. Michal and Ronnie came the day after, and we were touring various refugee camps, ultimately ending up in a town called Shemshel. I am not going to spell it out for you because it's got a lot of R's and Z's, but I will tell you that it was our home and our headquarters for almost a year while we evacuated people. The key word is we, specifically Michal, Ronnie, Yuval, and the team of Purple Vest, they command. They shoot out and say, look, this is what we've got to do. Then they leave their office, take off their commander outfit and come and join us and very much get involved in the work. Because the key to what we all do is learning. We learn a tremendous amount from each other. We learn how each other operates and how we can help each other. Because frankly, there is some PTSD associated with working in a refugee camp because it's not what you would call your normal opportunity. During my time there, we spent time setting up a refugee center. That doesn't mean just for people with disabilities and older adults. That's helping everybody. We were one of many on the team. We were involved in bringing in inclusive showers and bathrooms. Again, inside of the refugee center was all volunteers. a lot of the MASHAV and Natan and Accessibility Accelerator teams there. I will say that I spoke more Hebrew in those visits than I ever did before. We did a lot of work there, but in terms of the work that we did with Purple Vest is we taught on Mondays and Thursdays every new volunteer how to work with people with disabilities, how to recognize disabilities, and then how to approach people with disabilities so that we could best help them. We also assisted in the vital tasks of keeping the refugee center clean because it was at the tail end of COVID. And we wanted to make sure that people coming in, mostly women and children, because the men were kept at the front to fight, we were able to assist those people in the proper way. I think one of the proud things that we developed and we created was a playground for children that we enhanced by putting fencing around because trafficking is very common in refugee camps. And we provided a safe place for children and mothers to run around outdoors and have a great time from 9 o'clock in the morning till it got dark at night so that they would play, drink coffee, despite the harsh realities at home. One of the important things that I want to share, and I know it's being shared over and over and over, is you are before here some of the leaders, if you want to call them that, which I do, of Access Israel and Purple Vest, but we are students. I am constantly learning. Every call, every opportunity to go online is an opportunity to learn. And I am proud to say that the Purple Vest that we had in Ukraine was incredible. 3 years later, it is truly outstanding, the work. I proudly say that my heart is filled with Access Israel and Purple Vest's accomplishments because in the realm of things, they're sophisticated in explanation, but very, very simple to be a humanitarian. I'd like to share one story from Ukraine that was very, very touching to my wife and I. We had a young boy with autism who was coming from a center where people with disabilities are kept. Family would visit him twice a week. They were at the Shemshel refugee center and were being evacuated to a Scandinavian country. The hardest part was explaining to the parents that your son is going to live with you and that the country is going to provide for you to each learn your vocation and for your son to have care and for your mother-in-law to be able to cook the delicious meals that she cooked for you in Ukraine. We don't ask them to keep in touch, but they have kept in touch, and they do proudly tell us that they are thriving with their new son and that they really only met twice a week. To close, I do want to say two things, or a couple of things, but I only have a time limit, which I've been told many times I have to stick to. It was a half hour, but I said I'm only going to speak for 5 minutes. Number one, I am so proud of our global Amuta. We are, the way I describe it to friends, a small lion, but my God is our roar loud. And we hear it not only in Israel, but all over the world. And we are proud to say that approximately 15 months ago, in a talk at the Israeli embassy in Washington, I talked to a young, beautiful, on the outside, even more beautiful woman on the inside by the name of Sarah about bringing Purple Vest to the United States. She was very adamant in seeing what Access Israel was doing all over the world to bring it here to the United States. And I, who was maybe a little PTSD'd, was very much focused on my Access Israel family and making sure that they accomplish and our fundraising accomplish what they want. Sarah was an employee of the embassy in Washington, and we have finally launched it, sadly, in her memory. We have launched Purple Vest Mission Operation Sarah here in the United States in memory of Sarah Milgram and with the blessing of her parents. And the goal is to get what we call PVM 1001, 1001 organizations in the United States, whether that is a building, a corporation, a law firm, a federation, to train in Purple Vest, and then to be one of those 1001 organizations. It is vital to have it. I live in a building, and with this I'll close. I live in a building that has 400 apartments. We don't have Purple Vest in the building, but I can certainly tell you that the doormen downstairs are now aware of who in the building is a person with a disability, because I've hinted to them that you should know which apartments and mark them down, so that if, God forbid, there is a fire or any sort of an event in this building, when the fire department comes, they don't need to come to my apartment. They need to go to those apartments first to help. Again, thank you to all for joining. It is a pleasure to sit in New York with my coffee, because it's nice and early here while you guys are closing your day, and to share what I am proud to say, one of the great organizations in this world. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you. And I will also mention something that we always say about Purple Vest, and I think Jamie touched on this just now. The beauty of this model is that we don't know it all. And what we do is not the best, but the model gives you the tools to customize and personalize the Purple Vest mission to you, to your organization, to your country, to your municipality, to your disability. A solution that is good for a blind person is not necessarily good for a deaf person or person in a wheelchair. So the customization here is very important, and the ease in which you can implement it is amazing. So Jamie is going to lead the implementation in the USA. Jamie, hopefully out of the 100 people joining us in this webinar today, we'll have more Jamies all over the world. So we'll be more than happy.
With the utmost respect, Michal, I have two friends on here from Canada, so I'm throwing in North America as well.
Amazing, amazing, good. So thank you. And from North America, we'll move now to another great partner in Africa, in Uganda. Victor, I think that I met you first in a great conference in Kenya. And from this meeting, basically the connection was made, and I'm very proud to introduce you, Victor, from Tunaweza Foundation in Uganda, where she's the executive director of the foundation, and she's the one who brought Purple Vest to Uganda, to Bidi Bidi. And I would love for you to speak about our collaboration there on the ground. Victor, please, you have the mic.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and I'm so happy that I'm on this call with so familiar faces. Like I'm a family, definitely. However, before I start, I wanted to basically to bring a small video of just 2 minutes to basically bring everyone on board, the excitement, the challenges, and how impactful this the visit of the Access Israel was in Uganda. And then I'll come in and wrap it up at the end of it. So I'm calling upon Sherry to help me to share that with that. But I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much on that. At the beginning of this year, as Michelle said, like we met in Kenya 2 years ago, but then we kept in touch together and wanted to see how do we really support. But as we all know, Uganda really hosts one of the biggest like refugee camps in Uganda, and we have a couple of them. But we this time when we came in, we were like, let's target the biggest refugee camp in the world, which is BDBD. And I remember when we were going, it was a long journey, over one day, sorry, of travel to the BDBD rough roads. I remember Jimmy was like, "Are we going to come back on the same road?" Yeah, so but it was an experience really altogether. We trained over 100 volunteers, the Purple Vest volunteers, and I'm happy to report right now we are working with them. We through the Purple Vest in Uganda. We managed to get an opportunity of funding from CBM, where we are supporting the early refugees who are coming in due to Sudan and Congo wars, which has been happening in this year, really. And that is to do with sanitary kind of support, but then also financial support assistance at this time. And this program is on for 1 year ahead, 1 year from 1 year ending next year. So there is a lot really we learned. I remember we learned, the teams really learned to know how to identify person with disability. And this has really supported us. Funny but true, I remember previously we were like, oh, we have a smaller number of person with disability. However, after the training, when we are doing the assessment for the new project, surprisingly, because of the training, the awareness, we got a number of person with disability in just like 5 zones. And those zones, we have over 500 person with disability refugees who were identified and they are being supported. So for me, this was just the beginning and awakening as a Tuna Weather Foundation to know how do we support person with disability. As I'm ending, we do still have a lot of challenges. Other country, we have over like 10,000 refugees with different disabilities across the different, parts, and we have the landslide. So like there's a lot of need for this kind of a support, and I really want to call upon partners, not like calling upon partners to join us with Access Israel to take on this journey together. I'm happy to report again, we do have an training which is coming on in December to see, we may not be physically, but then how do we still keep the collaboration? How do we see that the different personas on the ground are equipped, with the Purple Vest training? So recurring, but then also bringing in other members on board to be trained. So we are really very pleased on this partnership. And once again, thank you so much, the partners out there supporting on this initiative. Without you, we couldn't have managed. I remember with Sherry, we were like, oh, we don't know whether we can be able to make it. But then we are like, let's hope for the best. And we are really happy. I make it like that we are having a family in Israel, and we are working together to better the access of person with disability. And as I'm ending, anytime, anywhere, for anyone, we need to be there for each one of us. Happy Disability Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And listen, I had to cancel last minute because of a personal issue. We have to have a continuation training. I want to be there. I want to meet you. I saw the pictures and it's really an inspiration. So thank you so, so much.
We shall look forward to hosting you. Thank you.
Perfect. And
Wearing my purple vest, by the way.
yeah, you are well dressed. You are very well dressed today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Amazing. So after we shared with you a little bit of what we can all do together, I would love to, before questions and answer, end with the same opening, amazing opening we had, and invite Ambassador Einat Schlein for closing remarks before the questions and answers. Please, Ambassador.
Thank you so much, Michal. I was very delighted to be here today and to listen to your presentation, some of which I've heard before, but I've learned many new angles. And thank you for the participants from the US and from Uganda. The video was brilliant. And the fact that we can all keep together here, and we had close to 100 people at the height, but even now we're still on 82 participants. That tells you that A, the webinar is interesting. B, the choice of topic is desired, and that also the participants, that testifies for the participants, which are committed to this cause and this topic. So thank you so much for taking the time in order to be with us this afternoon. For us in MASHAV Israel, we remain committed to stand with you and by you for making this a much better world. And this is not a cliche, and we're happy to collaborate with Access Israel and with each and every one of you. So thank you so much for your participation and for your friendship, and shalom from Jerusalem.
Thank you very much. And now I'm opening it for questions. We have a couple of more minutes. So if anybody would like to ask a question, please do.
And I see there is a question on chat, Michal.
I'm going into the chat. How can Access Israel help our Department of Education realize inclusive education for learners with disabilities? Great question. And this is from Brian from the Philippines, if I understand correctly. And I will tell you, as the person who started the training and education department in Access Israel, again, in a country that did not talk accessibility 20 years ago, I can tell you that dream big, but start small. Knock on a door. I can tell you that I remember the dozens of meetings that I had with schools, with teachers, with principals, with members of the Ministry of Education at the beginning, trying to convince them on the importance of implementing training for teachers and for the kids themselves in schools to enable true inclusion. And I remember the responses at the beginning were, oh, so important. It's so, I have a cousin, I have an aunt, I have somebody I know with disability, but you know, it will do bad for the kids. It won't be really nice. We don't want to harm anyone. And the answer is no, don't give up. I can tell you that again, and I invited you for the purple vest. I'm inviting you also for implementation of accessibility in general and definitely in the educational system. Dream big, start small. Don't reinvent wheels when wheels are turning. We have a model for that was awarded by the UN as one of the best practices in 2016. Please reach out. We'll be more than happy to share with you. And the idea is don't come from a begging position. Don't come from a please do me a favor and enable people with disability into your school. Do it from a part of power. I mean, you have the power to open the eyes and the hearts of the society. Whitney Houston sang, I believe the children are our future. It starts with the children. Don't give up. Any more questions, Shelly?
Yeah, I see someone Nigar, yeah. I see you raising your hand.
Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Greetings from Danceability, Azerbaijan. So my question is, you mentioned about accessibility director. For example, you said as a sample in a store, so 1 in 15 or 1 in 25. So how
25 employees.
Yeah, so how it works in reality, like that person volunteers that I would like to complete the special training, or?
So I'll tell you.
Thank you.
What we did here in Israel, the Access Israel model says that every organization should have a go-to person. It's not something, accessibility and inclusion is not something that should be put on some, agenda and left there. There has to be a person that takes control of that. And our solution was an accessibility director. And I can tell you that the legislator indeed adopted that. And today, as I said, every organization that provides services to the public and has more than 25 employees decides which of the employees is that coordinator. Now, what each coordinator does, he goes through a course. Again, we have that course. You don't have to reinvent it. The course comes and provides the knowledge. It doesn't mean that that person is now an expert. Mind you, it's a difference between the director and the accessibility expert. It's a 4-meeting course in which they get the basic. Now, once you know how to ask a question, once you know where to find the answer, and we have something even more amazing, which I recommend highly, and that is a community of directors, meaning in every store or in every organization or company, there's one director, he's alone. So we created a WhatsApp group of, I think we have now about 700 and something directors that share the knowledge, share the frustration, share the successes, learn from each other. Once a year, there's a conference. I mean, this is something that we can help you build. And I can tell you that once that person is in an organization, his names and contact is on your website, and your customer knows to turn to them. That is what makes the difference. It shows the people with disabilities and their family that, hey, we see you and we are here for you. Okay?
Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Anyone else? I see, I'm trying to go through the more shorter questions. In times of crisis, person with disabilities are at high risk of being returned to institution setting. How can we prevent this from happening beforehand? Well, I can tell you one thing. If I've learned one thing, it's preparedness. The more you don't wait for that emergency and start acting only then, by the way, as we did here in Israel, in our case, unfortunately, if you come well prepared in advance, and I'll give you an example of a person. If I go to an elderly person, if I go to a person in a wheelchair, and when there's no earthquake, when there's no war, when there's no emergency, I go over with them on their preparedness. I go over with their municipality or their neighborhood or their building on how people, the neighbors, can help. I provide those training. There are, as Jamie said, in his building, he doesn't have yet a purple vest system, but it's in the works. The power of the people to make a difference, to prepare. Once you're prepared, you are there are better chances that you will be more independent, and you will not need to go back to places where you do not choose and want to be. But I will say, on this day where the message is leave no one behind, I can tell you that when we were beginning this project in Ukraine, I came, with all the power and said, okay, we're not leaving anyone behind. Let's take everybody out. People with disabilities, their family, elderly, let's just take them out. And then all of a sudden we started to receive reactions from people saying, we want to stay, but still help us, because we don't know how to do it and stay here when there are no services that are accessible for us because everybody ran away. So the idea is, when we are on this day talking about leaving no one behind, let's do so also for those who want to stay behind. We're still not going to leave them behind.
Michal, if I can add one thing.
Yes.
Well, two things. Number one, something that you taught us so well is not to overthink the purple vest, in that it is great training. It is remarkable training, but you'd be surprised how simple a preparation you can do to save a life. So one of the things that we do, as an example, the Lemashal, is the 3 people killed and whenever these things happen, we do look into them. The 3 people killed in California in the fire were 3 people that lived in a house, and they had neighbors that could have helped. 2 of them had vans, and they just were not prepared or did not know that they had a neighbor that could have just used a van ride. Even though one of them sat in a wheelchair, doesn't matter. Evacuation is evacuation. And number 2, a word that Michal says all the time at her meetings, and she has been extremely busy these last weeks, but it's a word that I'm now using more than she is, and that's the ripple effect. Right now, we had as high as the Honorable Ambassador said, we had 80 people in this call. If you each tell 3 people about it, and they tell 3 people, and they tell 3 people, Purple Vest mission and the ability to train people to be prepared for, God forbid, any sort of event, whether it's a natural disaster, a fire, or God forbid, war, you're ready. So take advantage of that ability to cause a ripple effect. Thank you for letting me go over my time.
Perfect. Last question, anyone? I think we are done with questions. Of course, we are still here for any question you might have. And following my last answer, if you want, and maybe we can do it in cooperation with Mashav, we will be more than happy to have that course of coordinators. Bring together people from your community, and we'll be more than happy to provide the tools and learn together how to adapt and customize those tools to your neck of the world. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Shelly, for arranging this. Shelly, Dalia, and everybody that attended. Again, thank you to Mashav for the extreme friendship and partnership and pushing us to do. And of course, to the Senaka Foundation, who is enabling our international work to be heard so loudly. So thank you very much, guys, and looking forward to the next time we meet.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shalom.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.